The United States of America is the most powerful nation in the world, economically and militarily. It's also the most popular destination for the world's immigrants, by far. And yet a growing number of young Americans are dissatisfied with their country. Why is that? And is there a solution?
They educate young Americans who are ignorant of America's history, indifferent to liberty, and estranged from their country.
According to a 2021 survey by the Pew Research Center, 42% of Americans between the ages of 18 and 29 say other countries are better than the U.S. In contrast, at least 70% of Americans at ages 30 and up view the U.S. as either the greatest country or one of the greatest countries in the world. David Randall is the executive director of Civics Alliance, a coalition of organizations and citizens dedicated to preserving and improving civics education in the U.S. He says almost all of America's K-12 schools have stopped teaching about Western civilization and the ideals of liberty, and he believes this is the root cause of anti-American sentiment among youth.
We need restored social studies instruction centered on freedom to educate a new generation of Americans to secure the blessings of liberty.
In June, Civics Alliance launched American Birthright, a model for K-12 social studies standards. Its goal is to teach students to become effective citizens and combat social studies standards that focus on identity politics.
American Birthright teaches students to identify the ideals, institutions, and individual examples of human liberty, individualism, Republican self-government, religious freedom, and then once identified, to assess to the extent to which civilizations have fulfilled these ideals and describe how the evolution of these ideals in different times and places has contributed to the formation of modern American ideals.
Douglas Norlander, a veteran social studies teacher at Tartan High School in Minnesota, is a supporter of American Birthright Initiative. He said many social studies and history classes are not giving students the full picture.
I always ask the question, U.S. history compared to what? Like what was happening in China? What was happening in the Arab world or in India? A lot of kids, when they leave high school, have a very negative view of American history. The kids almost think, well, America was the only country that had slavery or the only country that had segregation. And there's this lack of a global perspective, I think, that we need to bring back into the curriculum where the kids have this nuanced and broad perspective.
Nicole Neily, founder of Parents Defending Education, a nonprofit that's part of Civics Alliance, said that parents across the country have become upset with politicized teachings in schools in recent years.
We have seen over the past year, 2 years, parents rising up, parents becoming deeply, deeply unhappy about what has been taking place in American schools. People are mad about the race and gender theory lessons that are being taught in school that teach children to view each other through the lens of identity politics and pitting each other against their peers. And why I'm so grateful for the launch of the American Birthright Project, because it is a concrete and positive thing that parents can bring to the table.
Jenna Robinson is head of the public policy organization that promotes excellence in higher education. She's part of the steering committee of the American Birthright Project.
As we all know, the current standards are failing to create effective citizens. And right now, we are fighting against various bowdlerized versions of history, civics, and geography in our schools. It's important for all students to get a sound footing in history and civics, regardless of whether they go to college. This is our American heritage. It's all of our birthright, not just students who go on to post-secondary education, and it should be taught to everyone.
The creation of the American Birthright model seems to be part of a larger trend. As of right now, 7 states have banned the teachings of critical race theory. They include Arkansas, Florida, Idaho, Iowa, New Hampshire, Oklahoma, and Tennessee. Florida has also passed the Stop Woke Act to regulate how schools and businesses address race and gender. Reporting by Angela Moy, NTD News.